Good afternoon, gentlemen, and thank you for being with us this afternoon. So, in 2014, Abax started on a process where we went into ISAE 3402 Type 1. We got audited for ISAE 3402 Type 1. And in parallel, Abax got its ISO 27001 certification. So it was two major programs being rolled out at the same time in the organization. And so we're here today because we've moved also a step forward, a step further in this process with the Fund and Investor Services Department of Abax being ISAE 3402 Type 2 audited. And please share with us what has been its experience and why the organization felt it was necessary to go through this process, and lastly probably what other plans there are in the pipeline.
Thank you, Gilbert. I think you've asked some very pertinent questions. In 2014, we indeed went into the dual certification process for ISO 27001 and ISAE 3402 Type 1, because we really wanted to demonstrate to our clients that we manage their information and the data in the utmost confidentiality manner, that we preserve the integrity of the information. That's for ISO 27001. And we also wanted to demonstrate that we are able to follow defined processes, and that for all the processes that we have the controls and the risk management framework inbuilt. So we managed successfully to get the ISO 27001 certification in August 2014, and then in December 2014 we got the ISAE 3402 Type 1 for the whole office. We wanted to take this ISAE 3402 Type 1 certification and auditing process a step further, and we embarked since the beginning of 2015 with Fund and Investor Services on a journey to actually get Type 2. Deepak will tell you a bit more about what Type 2 is all about, but we're really happy that we actually got audited by PwC for ISAE Type 2 for Fund and Investor Services. We have today more than 40 funds that we administer at Abax. And in terms of the client servicing, we really needed to follow defined processes, also to ensure that the controls and the processes are really managed and done in a way which has been predefined, and we have all the required controls in place. So maybe Deepak will explain a bit more what this ISAE Type 2 is all about, and then Vishal will take us through how it was implemented in the Fund and Investor Services line of service.
Yes, thank you, Mahen. So, as you rightly mentioned, in 2014, we got successfully audited for the ISAE Type 1. So ISAE Type 1, it shows that in fact we have well-designed processes, and that we have done a risk assessment to put in place controls, and those controls meet certain defined control objectives. Now, this year, the Fund and Investor Services Department has been successfully audited for the ISAE Type 2. And in fact, this shows that over and above efficient processes, well-designed processes, it shows that in fact our controls are operating effectively. So from a quality management perspective, being successfully audited for the ISAE Type 2 shows in fact that we are fully committed to providing a very high level of quality of service to our clients by leveraging on efficient processes and effective financial reporting controls. So perhaps now Vishal can give more details with respect to Fund and Investor Services.
Thank you, Deepak. In the Fund and Investor Services department, what we have seen is that we deal mainly with fund managers, investment advisors, and sophisticated clients, where many times we have received requests from their auditors to check on our processes, controls that we have in Abax. So by getting certification ISAE 3402 Type 2, it clearly demonstrates to our clients, the fund managers, that our processes are operating effectively, and this gives a lot of comfort to all the stakeholders that we are doing our job as administrator effectively and protecting the interest of all the stakeholders. And it has been it has been a fantastic journey, starting from the Type 1 to Type 2. The whole team has devoted lots of time to get it done. And from all the processes that we have designed, each process have a defined checklist and controls on each process. And this helps to standardize all the processes. And we have, as administrator, we have to ensure that we are doing things right and according to the highest standards in the industry and the best practices of the fund industry as well. We as administrator, we are showing that we are protecting the interests of the clients, the fund managers, and all the stakeholders.
Rightly, you used the word pioneered, and I believe that Abax has indeed been a pioneer in its line of business in terms of this process. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that? How you been a pioneer in this certification and process itself as a management company operating from Mauritius?
Yeah, I think we can say we are really a pioneer because we are the only company in Mauritius which really has both certifications at the same time. We've done ISO 27001, as I mentioned. It's really for the preservation of confidentiality and integrity of information, as well as the availability to only legitimate users. But we also did, in parallel, the ISAE 3402, where we laid all processes. We've done the risk assessment, the controls that have to be put in place. And now with ISAE Type 2 for fund and investor services, we demonstrate that the controls are effectively being implemented and can be easily demonstrated. So when we combine the two together, it puts us in a unique position in Mauritius, where a client which comes to us have full confidence that we can do things according to the highest level of confidentiality, of integrity, as well as quality, right? So this is what probably today differentiates us from other players in the market here.
And are you looking at implementing ISAE 3402 across the firm in the future?
Yes, we do. I think Fund and Investor Services has really led the way. And we've got the experience now. We've got a team. Deepak actually is our dedicated quality manager. So his role is really to ensure that what has been done for ISAE Type 2 for Fund and Investor Services now percolates to all the lines of services that we have. So we are already embarked now on the Type 2 process for our corporate management, our private wealth services line of service, as well as other operational functions that we have at Abax.
Thank you.